Alrighty, what's up guys, Ronaldo here. Welcome back to the channel. If you enjoy the content, I always appreciate you guys smashing the like button. Let's get right into it. Markets are trying to recover. You're seeing ETH do better, hold up better in altcoins. Not a surprise there. We're in that period of the bull market, or of the post-halving year, I should say, I guess. And these are the trades in right now. There's a few other setups I liked. I did have a Sol trade that unfortunately did get stopped out because we came down a little bit lower on Sol. You could argue that I probably should have put more allocation into Ethereum instead of altcoins for some trades, because this is the period that ETH generally outperforms the alts. And, if we look at the charts, the first thing I could kind of show you to kind of strengthen that argument would be ETH versus others. Similar situation here. You saw a bottom in April of 21 all the way up to August of 21. So voila, look right here around April, and then potentially up to here for alts to outperform, for Ethereum to outperform alts for, I don't know, until sometime in next month, sometime in August. So that's kind of what you're looking at right there. In terms of, market coming down or whatever, we kind of, want Bitcoin to bounce around. So it wouldn't surprise me if you come down to 111. I mean, your real big area that I don't think you would lose would be 108. So it wouldn't be impossible to come down to these areas, but I do think that Bitcoin coming down, it's going to be the first time in a long time, Bitcoin coming down. Look at others versus Bitcoin. That's a good sign. You got a nice bounce there. You're trying to hold that area. So I would think this would either, go upward like this or bounce around, get a little reverse head and shoulder situation there, then, try to go upward. And I mean, who knows exactly where it's going to end up by October or by end of year, but hopefully back up to these points at least. Your average altcoin outperforming Bitcoin from where we are by, well, more than that, maybe 100%, up to these points. Who knows if this will make an all-time high? Like, the good thing about this is that it generally trends up, trends up, bear market for it, trends up, long bear market this time for it. If you're comparing it to this time, this is January 21 and went straight up. I mean, we're way freaking, we're really, what's the thing here? We're like really delayed on that, which is, okay. I mean, you could even argue, I'm trying to think into 2017, that was April. Well, I mean, if you're comparing to here, July, and then you had one big jump up out of nowhere into the end of the year. So it is possible for that. Let's hope for the best for it. Obviously, it has been a disappointer lately. Looking at ETH itself, this is pretty good because you're holding this area. I mean, who's to say it can't break down, but I think you got a good shot of, holding this area and a continuation there in the 12-hour. Most money flow is overheated on some of the middle time frames here, but when you look at it on like some of the higher ones, money flow crossover into the green, so some consolidation, then potentially breaking upward to some of these higher points. And I mean, maybe it's a little bit too optimistic, but maybe we can keep going generally straight up and break in or into early August, hit some new all-time highs. We'll see what happens. I don't know if that's exactly going to happen, but when you look at your monthly, you still got the green dot confirms in 6 days. Beginning of August, I would start to look for maybe a potential pullback. We'll see what happens though in the next week though. Part of me would say it's probably going to be jumpy sideways and then eventually break upward or break downward, but I don't know. It's like ETH season. Maybe you defy odds and jump up to 4,100, then up to 4,600. So we'll see what happens. I know this is kind of like dilly dally, anything could happen, but I mean, I don't know. I think you're still in a pretty good position. Your lower time frames are pretty good as long as you kind of generally hold this area. 3,500, I think you're okay. And the positive thing here is I don't think you're going to lose 3,200 anytime soon, like, or 3,300. Like the spiral under area, I don't think you're going to lose that anytime soon. Like, my guess here, something like this maybe. I mean, that's really bullish. And then, you know what I mean? And then into kind of October, taking more time, more extended than that, but then that kind of 7,000. So that's what I'm looking at there. And then if you look at kind of Bitcoin, like we talked about, I kind of think this may drop down as alts kind of hold up. Some alts are kind of getting slaughtered right now, but that's always how it's going to be. Some of them I like that I've been looking at lately. And well, before we look at that real quick, I just want to show you guys ETH versus Bitcoin back up to its high from 4 days ago. So that's really good. And I think that should be up to 0.035 before we know it, and then a lot of pain erased. That's back to where you were in October of last year, which is pretty good. And then, I mean, at bare minimum this year, I would hope to see 0.049, these kind of areas. So erasing all the pain, until from like beginning of 2024, which is kind of the goal of what we want to do with this, at least here. So, I mean, if you converted Bitcoin at any point after this into ETH, you're probably going to be okay, and you got some compound interest if you're staking or whatever. So, not the best outcome. Maybe it could go higher, though. We'll see. Chainlink is a good one right now. I'll give you guys a little bit of a freebie long setup now. Just keep in mind what I said about ETH. I think it will outperform most altcoins. You could get a 3-to-1 there. Remember, with a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio, you could win 1 out of 3 of your trades and be plenty profitable. So just keep that in mind. That is something right there that you could try to do. I'm still long on Ethereum right here, Chainlink. A lot of patience there. Look at those funding rates just tearing me apart, but it is what it is. And if you guys are interested in trading, check out the links down below. 20% off your fees for life for BYDFI and BloFin, only with my link down below. 25% of your fees for life with Bitunix, only with my link down below. And remember, guys, if you deposit at least $100 on any of the exchanges down below, sign up for my link, deposit at least $100. I'll give you 1 free month in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord. Just make sure you open a support ticket with your UID or your email, and we'll get you sorted there. A lot of you guys have done really well in the Discord. I know some of you guys have done really, really well. Obviously, there's no guarantee. You got to study it and got to learn, like anything else, but we've seen people do pretty well. I talked to you guys, and it is really a heartwarming thing to hear some of your success stories. But again, guys, don't just think you're going to go in and, make a ton of money and all that immediately. It's not how it works. It's a skill like anything else. I mean, imagine you had to, perform open heart surgery with 1 day of training. It's not how it works. It's like anything else. You're not going to be able to do that successfully in just a few days. It takes a while. But anyway, so those are trades right there. Check out the links down below if you're interested. And then the potential jump here, trigger waves and such. I like Chainlink right now. It could lag behind a little bit. I just want to look at its ETH evaluation real quickly. But we are about to hit a pretty big point there. I think Chainlink can. The thing is, you zoom out on these and you're just like, yeah, because that was the peak there in freaking 2020 for this. But I think you should be able to jump back up to these highs on your ETH valuation relatively soon. Bitcoin dominance, I think you're generally kind of topped out here, and you're trying to reject and go down lower, and I think you will into at least October. That's what I think. Solana, been a little laggy losing this area. I think you'll find a bottom relatively soon. The thing about Solana, though, is its ETH pair does look like it's breaking down farther. I think you'll find a bottom, hopefully sometime in August, though, but I'd probably rather go long on Chainlink than Solana right now. For that reason, I think you will. I mean, this is a big area. It could be bottoming here, maybe or a little bit lower. Kind of looks like you will go a little bit lower. Just keep that in mind. We looked at ETH versus others. Probably will come up a little bit more. Others versus Bitcoin, we also looked at. That looks good too. But like I said, ETH will probably outperform, most alts for the next couple of weeks. Some of my favorite alts, AVAX. This should, I don't think, it's kind of a long shot. Well, 5x from here to say, I don't know if you're going to make a new all-time high, but I think you could at least get back up to, a double 50. Probably 100 should be a pretty good goal, but, on the lower ends of where we would end up, 50 to 60 in the next few months. And I think you'll eventually break upward from here. So there's that on AVAX. TRX, bit of a weird chart. It kind of reminds me of like the Ripple chart or XRP chart. People get annoyed if you say Ripple or XRP or whatever. But yeah, I think this should break upward out of this, whatever the hell pattern this is, and get back up to, these highs, hopefully 50 cents in a few months. So yeah, maybe even higher if things go really well. And SWE is another one I was looking at rejecting from this point. This could come down a little bit lower. If you do see a continued lull for the market, this would kind of fit into that narrative. Maybe a bottom in August and then into, October and a year or whatever, coming back up to these points. That would make logical sense. Or you hit a bottom here. Again, SWE could underperform the rest of the altcoin market or something and do this same thing while the rest of the things rally during that time. That's always possible. Things don't always follow one another completely. Just keep that in mind. Another one that's been holding up pretty well, I wanted to show you guys Crypto.com, Kronos Crow. This thing looks like it's really primed for 16 cents. So I'm really looking at that there. How would you trade this right now? You could try something kind of a low, I'd like to go 2-to-1 ideally for a risk-reward ratio. Something like that you might be able to pull off a 2-to-1 right there. Could be a sleeper hit right now. We'll see what happens. It's like an old person movie reference, sleeper hit. But anyway, guys, I think that's all the update I have right now for you guys. again, I think to summarize, I think market's pretty good right now. I don't think Bitcoin could come down lower, but I think ETH should be able to hold generally pretty good here. As always, I could be wrong though. Maybe we'll go down back to 3,200, big support area. So yeah, check out the links down below if you guys are interested in trading, guys. I'll see you guys really soon. Probably we'll do a live stream at least tomorrow or later today, or a little live convo with you guys in the Discord. So check that out if you guys are interested. All right, guys. I'll see you. Goodbye.